Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was recently asked if she would consider not running for re-election in February 2023 due to the violence, looting, economic devastation, and civil unrest in the city of Chicago. Mayor Lightfoot responded that she wouldn't even honor that question with a response. Even evil people can give good gifts, or at least an answer. And to those who knock, the door is opened, and to those who seek, they will find, except if you happen to live in Cook County or the city of Chicago. Welcome to Connecting Consciousness, Illinois. I'm Stanley Smith. Connecting Consciousness is a worldwide network of like-minded people. When we're all connected, we're encouraged and empowered individually and collectively. This week, we had member Maureen Riley as our guest to continue our conversation on the topic of spirituality. Maureen shared the concept of having a felt sense of divine inner presence. Instead of thinking about God's divine presence as something from the outside in, feeling it as an inside out experience. Instead of thinking it, feeling it. Maureen said that we're all very, very good at following the intel of the outside world, but not so good at following the intel that's going on inside of us, what's in our hearts, and what our inner voice is telling us. Our inner voice, do we even know we have one? And are we listening to it? Are we hearing it? And when we do hear it, do we consider noticing it and writing it down? Maureen shared the practice of asking, listening, and then journaling when we feel our Sacred Heart center receiving important intel, answers, or illumination. Many initiatory rites, the petitioner must knock 3 times on the door, and in Orthodox Judaism, the petitioner knocks at the door of the temple on 3 separate occasions before being allowed entry. And the initiate is sent away on 3 separate occasions to attest to the earnestness for illumination. Maureen guided us in a meditation, and what many of us experienced was exactly that, an experience of illumination. For me, the words, the still small voice, and knock and the door will be opened came to me from the words of Scripture, words familiar to me, but in the moment of the meditation, an illuminated manuscript, so to speak. Most of us on the call experienced something, and that was the whole point Maureen was trying to make, that our inner voice is trying to tell us something. Maureen stressed the idea that this as an inner practice, and I'm struck by that fact because in most churches, they never talk about this. They never talk about listening to our inner voice or making this a practice. Maureen completed her outline for this practice by suggesting we hear our inner voice and listen to it, and then write it down as a journaling exercise, noting the message, notes about implementing the message, and details about the results of implementing the message. Risa Risley shared her journaling practice on a recent Zoom call, and it was exactly what Maureen was talking about. As Risa shared her practice, it was apparent she's having a personal relationship with God, a conversation with God, and she's acting out her conversation, caring for her family, and interacting with others based on the conversation. Risa did not describe herself as born again, and I've never quite understood exactly what that means anyway, but I'm starting to. You really can't understand it in your head. You need to experience it in your inner conversation, within your being and in your heart, and then how that plays out with others. In church, we hear dispersions about those who are spiritual, but not religious. And I suppose that's because spiritual is not so good for business. If no one supports the religion, then there's no organized vessel for the spiritual. Similar to our physical selves, we must be maintained to support our entire organism. But somewhere in there, something got lost in the shuffle. In the United States, the most common form of civic engagement is going to church on Sunday. So I'm certainly not going to dissuade anyone from this practice. It serves many, many important functions in our society. Church has been a vessel for certain truths and knowledge. It has gotten many of us this far. And now we just need to go a little further to hear this inner voice calling to us and inviting us to a closer relationship with God and with the rest of our human family. Connecting consciousness is not religion, and many churches are not that spiritual. Connecting consciousness is picking up that thread as we wrestle with the challenges of becoming an organization. Some people ask why they sometimes receive emails from me from my personal email account and not the Connecting Consciousness Coordinator account. And there's a simple answer to that. It's because I am the coordinator for the state of Illinois, and I'm also a member. I'm interested in doing a good job as coordinator, and I'm even more interested in being an exemplar member. Operationally, this means that if everything is going well, that's because I'm a terrific coordinator. But if anything goes wrong, well, guess what? It's just because I'm a member. One of the challenges of being coordinator is receiving questions I don't really have an answer to. These include questions about the reevaluation, med beds, and funding for humanitarian projects. I do believe even evil people can give good gifts, and because of this, I struggle with finding the good gift of an answer to offer the people asking these questions. Having an answer to a question is the least we can offer, unless perhaps you're Lori Lightfoot. Knock and the door will be opened, and seek and you shall find. I believe none should go away empty-handed. I asked Maureen about this, and she said we can say, let's look at this together. That's comforting, because in many ways, I do believe that is what we're doing here at Connecting Consciousness, trying to see things together. And it's one of the reasons I find being coordinator so rewarding, and it's the reason I find being a member a complete joy. The most important part of Maureen's meditation is that it included everyone. All are included, not those who have honored the question or figured it out in their heads, but everyone, you, me, and even those who simply can't honor the question with a simple response. If you would like to learn more about Connecting Consciousness Illinois, I will include my email in the description of this video. The Saturday Zoom call is every Saturday at 9 a.m. Central Time, and I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.